New Jersey Commission's report discovered more than $70 million deposited for cryptocurrency purchases between 2015 and 2020. Many companies allowed customers to buy up to $900 worth of cryptocurrency with only a cell phone number or no information at all.
Bitcoin criminal activity versus Bitcoin and human rights. For the longest time, anywhere and anything involved with money has always been characterized by criminal activities, or at least people who keep trying to get their hands dirty on what they can get. Pablo Escobar, Al Capone, and John Dillinger may be the notorious criminals you can put a face to since we hear about them in our culture through books, movies, and whatnot. But it's totally different when it comes to Bitcoin and digital currency. While all transactions that occur on the blockchain are kept on the public record and are accessible to anyone for review, the identities of transaction makers remain unknown. This way, criminals anonymously trade drugs, weapons, explosives, child pornography, and conduct other unlawful activities, knowing they can't be traced. In other cases, terrorists can ask for funding and donations for extremist organizations without revealing their identity, remaining completely untraceable. But on the positive side, Bitcoin and other crypto have provided reliable alternatives to financial intermediaries like banks and government regulators, making transactions a fair trade and decentralized for all. That's what I'd call social justice. That's why today we'll be comparing Bitcoin criminal activity versus Bitcoin and human rights. But before we begin, in the comments below, tell us, have you ever fallen victim to cybercrime? Now let's get to it. Cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more recently Monero has become the currency of choice for many drug dealers and extortionists. The criminal activities extend to tax evasion, money laundering, Ponzi schemes, and the theft of cryptocurrencies to kidnapping for ransom. As the demand for cryptocurrencies increases, it provides opportunity for criminals to hide behind presumed privacy and anonymity. Identifying these cryptocurrency-related crimes has posed challenges for law enforcement due to the cross-border nature of transactions, the use of evasion technology to mask the identity of users, and inconsistent regulations. While they may not be a competitor to the currency in terms of laundering volume at present, the ever-increasing use of cryptocurrency and their unregulated or less regulated nature in many jurisdictions mean that the financial world has a lot to worry about. The same is echoed in the 2019 meeting of the G20 finance ministers and central bank governors in Japan. While crypto assets do not pose a threat to global financial stability at this point, we remain vigilant to risks, including those related to consumer and investor protection, anti-money laundering, and countering the financing of terrorism, says a note from the meeting. Crypto advisors often claim that laundering money with cryptocurrencies is highly complex and risky, making it an ineffective strategy compared to conventional techniques. They also argue that transactions in digital currencies are more transparent and accountable compared to fiat currencies. Another argument is, money laundering using cryptocurrencies is comparatively very small in terms of volume, and mainstream media is focusing more on criminal activities related to digital currencies rather than technology and innovation. Albeit on a small scale, there's no doubt that cryptocurrencies are being used to facilitate money laundering. Cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin are slowly changing their stature as a mainstream medium of value exchange in the digital era. Many large companies now accept digital currency for payments of products and services, and many banks are considering adopting blockchain technology. That being said, cryptocurrency really has the potential to replace their paper and plastic variants. Therefore, it's essential to analyze the loopholes enabling these currencies to be used for money laundering and develop adequate counter technologies to combat crime. According to the United Nations, between $800 billion and $2 trillion are being laundered every year across the globe, representing 2 to 5% of the global gross domestic product. Out of this, more than 90% goes undetected. The exact volume of crypto laundering is yet to be established. However, there are some indicative statistics on the internet. A report says that crypto thefts, hacks, and frauds totaled $1.36 billion in the first 5 months of 2020, compared to 2019's $4.5 billion. According to another report, criminals laundered $2.8 billion in 2019 using crypto exchanges, compared to $1 billion in 2018. And as of 2019, total Bitcoin spending on the dark web was $829 million, representing 0.5% of all Bitcoin transactions. To conceal the illegitimate origin of payments, criminals use a variety of strategies involving cryptocurrency. All of these approaches rely on one or more of cryptocurrency's flaws, such as their intrinsic pseudonymity, ease of cross-border transactions, and decentralized peer-to-peer payments. Money laundering with cryptos follows the same three-stage process as cash-based money laundering: placement, layering, and integration. Criminals also use Bitcoin's decentralized networks to transmit funds to a different location, frequently in another country where there are crypto exchanges with lax anti-money laundering legislation. These exchanges assist individuals in converting cryptocurrency into fiat currency in order to purchase high-end items. Additionally, crypto ATMs allow people to purchase Bitcoin via credit or debit cards, and in some cases by depositing cash. Some ATMs offer the facility to trade cryptocurrencies for cash as well. In many countries, the Know Your Customer measures for using these machines are poorly enforced. Another way criminals use Bitcoin is while gambling. Many gambling sites accept payments in cryptocurrencies. Criminals can purchase chips with cryptos and cash them out after a few transactions. Some of the notable incidences involving crypto crime are: Number 1. Money laundering. In late September 2021, the civil police of Rio de Janeiro arrested 12 people on charges of laundering money using cryptocurrencies. The dozen people, who allegedly belong to a militia that controls the city's Musema and Rio das Pedras, was accused of using Bitcoin to conceal revenue generated from extorting local businesses. Number 2. Kidnapping. While money laundering hides illicit revenue, many gangs have started to operate in Bitcoin from the beginning to hide their identities even more effectively. Hence, the prevalence of Bitcoin ransom payments. On October 11, 2021, Gustavo Torres Gonzalez was found murdered in the Venezuelan town of Tijuana after his family failed to pay the full amount that the kidnappers demanded. According to a source who spoke to El Pitazo, the ransom payment had been demanded in Bitcoin. Number 3. Cryptocurrency scams. The hype surrounding the enormous profits some have made from investing in cryptocurrencies have made them an excellent tool for scammers selling get-rich-quick schemes. On August 25, 2021, Brazilian police dismantled a gang that bilked investors through a cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme. Operation Cryptos, as the raid was called, led to the seizure of 591 bitcoins that were valued at the time at $28.4 million. The largest seizure of cryptocurrency in Brazilian history. The scheme, and others like it, lured investors with a promise of guaranteed high returns generated from cryptocurrency investments. In reality, it paid old investors with money taken from new victims. To combat the use of cryptocurrency in money laundering, regulators worldwide have issued laws and advice for businesses trading in digital currencies. Regulators have included crypto exchanges and wallet businesses in their existing anti-money laundering legislation, while others have established new ones. And now, let's look at the positive impact of Bitcoin on society. As the first decentralized digital currency introduced in 2009 together with the blockchain, Bitcoin offers new opportunities both for developed and developing countries. Bitcoin peer-to-peer transactions are independent of the banking system, facilitating foreign exchanges with low transaction fees, such as remittances, and offering a huge degree of anonymity. Together with other key factors, these opportunities led Bitcoin to become extremely popular and caused its price to skyrocket over the years. Some of the advantages of using Bitcoin include: Number 1. Quick transactions. In traditional business dealings, brokers, agents, and legal representatives can add significant complication and expense to what should otherwise be a straightforward transaction. There's paperwork, brokerage fees, commissions, and any number of other special conditions which may apply. One of the advantages of Bitcoin cryptocurrency transactions is that they are one-to-one affairs, taking place on a peer-to-peer networking structure that makes cutting out the middleman a standard practice. This leads to greater clarity in establishing audit trails, less confusion over who should pay what to whom, and greater accountability, in that the two parties involved in a transaction each know who they are. Number 2. Asset transfers. One financial analyst described the cryptocurrency blockchain as resembling a large property rights database, which can on one level be used to execute and enforce two-party contracts on commodities like automobiles or real estate. But the blockchain cryptocurrency ecosystem may also be used to facilitate specialist modes of transfer. For example, Cryptocurrency contracts can be designed to add third-party approvals, make reference to external facts, or be completed at a specified date or time in the future. And since you, as the Bitcoin holder, has exclusive governance of your account, this minimizes the time and expense involved in making asset transfers. Number 3. Enhances confidentiality. Under cash and credit systems, your entire transaction history may become a reference document for the bank or credit agency involved each time you make a transaction. At the simplest level, this might involve a check on your account balances to ensure that sufficient funds are available. For more complex or business-critical transactions, a more thorough examination of your financial history might be required. Another one of the significant advantages of Bitcoin is that each transaction you make is a unique exchange between two parties, the terms of which may be negotiated and agreed upon in each case. What's more, the exchange of information is done on a push basis, whereby you can transmit exactly what you wish to send to the recipient, and nothing besides that. This guards the privacy of your financial history and protects you from the threat of account or identity theft, which is greater under the traditional system, where your information may be exposed at any point in the transaction chain. Number 4. Transaction fees. You've no doubt read your monthly account statements from the bank or credit card company and balked at the level of fees imposed by writing checks, transferring funds, or breathing in the general direction of the finance houses involved. Transaction fees can take a significant bite out of your assets, especially if you're performing a lot of transactions in a month. Since the data miners that do the number crunching, which generates Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, receive their compensation from the cryptocurrency network involved, transaction fees usually don't apply. There may be some external fees involved if you engage the services of third-party management services to maintain your cryptocurrency wallet. But another one of the advantages of cryptocurrency is that they're still likely to be much less than the transaction charges incurred by traditional financial systems. Number 5. Greater access to credit. Digital data transfer and the internet are the media facilitating the exchange in Bitcoin. So these services are potentially available to anyone who has a viable data connection, some knowledge of the cryptocurrency networks on offer, and ready access to their relevant websites and portals. It's estimated that there are currently 2.2 billion individuals worldwide who have access to the internet or mobile phones, but don't currently have access to traditional systems of banking or exchange. The cryptocurrency ecosystem holds the potential to make asset transfer and transaction processing available to this vast market of willing customers, once the required infrastructure is put in place. And that's it from us today. How positively or negatively has Bitcoin impacted you socially? Let us know in the comments below.